Lesson 1.
As the sun began to hide behind the mountains and the shadows grew long, it occurred to me that on this day, for maybe the first time in my life, I was completely in the moment. Just me, a rod, a fly, and a couple of trout. No world, no noise, no chaos. Negativity swept into banks and then gone. I asked God what He wanted me to learn on this fishless day. It's really not about catching fish.
I've been fishing these waters for almost 30 years, and I can tell you that I found my emotional freedom on the waters out there, and I wanted to share that with the kids and give them some lessons that might help them move their journey forward and to give them the peace that I found, fly fishing. And I was able to organize at least 10 little lessons from fly fishing that I put into a booklet for each kid to have to take home with them to remind them of some of the lessons that we've all learned on this river.
On River Time provides life-affirming programming for children of abuse and neglect. We partner with 3 children's homes in 3 different states, and that programming includes fly fishing camps that we do right here on the Snake River.
We get to love on them. We get to take them to do different things. Many firsts, first time on an airplane, first time to see the mountains, first time whitewater rafting.
We change their perspective by changing their environment. And we fly them from different parts of the country here.
Coming here, I thought it was all about fishing, and Mr. Steve kept saying, it's not about the fishing. It's about what you learn and what you hear from God on the water and off the water. In my past, I was a very prideful person. Growing up, I never really had parents, nor did I have siblings, so I was always fending for myself. Being on these waters, it really changed my perspective.
Being able to see my brother here on River Time changed the way that I saw him, because we weren't always close, and I think this trip brought us closer. It made me realize that he's literally one of my favorite people, and I like seeing him out of his box.
Well, I wrote down 10 lessons. The lessons that we see and feel on the river continue to grow every year. And some of the kids may get it the first time, they may get pieces of it the first time, but every year they come back, they catch a new lesson. They're not taught something, they're caught. And I think that they put that in their basket that they can pull out when things get difficult and challenges arise in their life in the future.
The most impactful lessons are rarely caught in smooth waters, but it is the rough, choppy waters where we learn the most about ourselves.
And as I unraveled my long line, knot after knot, my thoughts fixed on how each of us are tied together.
The river must be respected, for it has all kinds of disasters just waiting for an unfocused angler.
I feel like it's just like watching a movie the second time, and you get something different out of it every time. So you get to experience in a whole nother way and get to pick out new things that you're just learning.
I gently lowered the trout into the water and watched him swim away. A catch and a release. So much about living is about letting go.
A purposeful life often requires a little patience, tied to a rod with a lot of faith. But there is a plan, and it is always worth the wait.
I was on the boat whenever I realized that fly fishing is kind of the same way as life. I feel like every fly has a purpose. They're all made for a certain reason. They can catch different fish. There's different flies. Just kind of like us, in a way, we're all made for a different purpose.
While I may get lucky and hang a big one off the side, my chances are better if I listen to my guide. He's been in this spot on the river more times than I, and his read of the river is usually true.
These kids are so amazing. They are so grateful to be out here. They are excited to see eagles and wildlife. There's a ton of life lessons. During our ride down the river, I will harp on a few things because there are some tendencies that happen that will detract from our ability to catch. One of those is to fish behind the boat as it's traveling down the river. So I will say fish to the future 100 times in a single guide day, which also translates, to don't get stuck in the past. The past is upstream. Those fish are behind us, those bad memories, whatever's happened. This is all downriver, new fish, new moment, new experience.
A lot of the kids identify themselves with the trauma, with the things that have been done to them, the abuse. And yes, that is unfortunate that we had to experience that, but at some point you have to give it to the Lord and let Him use that trauma for His victory. Let Him use it for His good. And so I am at that point where I'm just not identifying with my trauma anymore. I'll always remember it, but I won't let it define me.
When I think back on my most valued possessions, none of those about things. It's all about the moments that make us feel. And we really want these kids to understand that, they're gonna forget what I say or what Donna says or what Wendy says. They may forget that, but they will not forget how we make them feel this week.
It really does play a part in these kids' lives, speaking from experience. I mean, I came in and thought it was just a trip, and then I realized it was a life-changing trip.
I mean, this is a lot of times the biggest, most extravagant trip that these kids have ever been on or even could conceive. And my hope is that somehow I could have a teeny little part in an experience that could change even one of these kids' trajectory. If I could feel like I had just a teeny little positive influence in any of these kids' life, it would be all that I would need for sure.
The bonds that you build and the new lessons that you're learning, it really does change your perspective.
On Rivertime is a place for healing, and it's a place to find friends, family, connections, to better yourself through your walk with Christ. Thank you for letting me be healed, and thank you for showing your love for sending me here, because I felt loved here.